Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're stripping away the Hollywood cliches to look at the dark, incredibly isolating reality of becoming a state-sponsored cyber infiltrator. We're going to map out the exact psychological and technical journey of those shadow identities you've probably wondered about, but trust me, would never actually want to live.
All right, let's just dive right into it. You know the trope, furious typing, green scrolling numbers on a black screen? Yeah, forget all of that. The reality of extreme digital warfare, it's entirely mundane. Taking down a medium-sized nation's electrical grid doesn't start in some high-tech mainframe. Honestly, it usually kicks off with something as low-tech as a forgotten USB drive, just casually dropped in a parking lot, waiting for someone curious enough to plug it in. That right there is the real entry point for the most dangerous weapons a government has, people who don't even exist on the official payroll.
So how does this start? Phase 1, from boredom to hacker.
Look, your descent into this world doesn't begin with high-stakes espionage. Actually, it probably starts on a rainy Tuesday. Picture this. You're a talented coder, writing back-end stuff for, grocery delivery apps, and you're just feeling like your immense talent is being totally wasted. Day in, day out, just staring at the same syntax. But then it clicks. You realize, information is literally just ones and zeros. And you're the magician who knows how to manipulate them. So you start small. You write a few bots to find abandoned servers, maybe build your own digital vault or underground marketplace. You're suddenly pulling immense value out of thin air. And man, the unparalleled thrill of that, it is a rush way stronger than any video game victory.
Which brings us to Phase 2, the government simulation trap.
Now, you might think you're the absolute king of this new underground world you've built, but you're really not. You're actually just a candidate. Because here's the thing, your government doesn't want to arrest you for digital trespassing. No, they want to own you. So they put you through what they call a simulation. It's essentially this incredibly elaborate ethics test, where unseen handlers are watching your every single move. They want to see what makes you tick when you think nobody's looking. Is your paranoia driven by genuine moral guilt, or is it just the fear of getting caught?
And when you inevitably fail that test by choosing profit over integrity, snap. The trap closes. You're hit with a brutal ultimatum. You can either spend the next 30 years locked in a literal steel prison cage, or you can take a desk in a windowless room. Sure, the coffee's free, but the doors only open from the outside. By choosing that room, you're really just trading one prison for another.
Okay, moving on to Phase 3, surviving the digital ladder.
Down at the bottom of the ladder, you're basically a script kiddie. You're spending your days poking at endless lines of server logs, just desperately looking for one tiny software glitch to let you slip into a target database unnoticed. And to pull this off and stay completely invisible, you've got to wear a digital mask. You're using tools like Tor to systematically bounce your signal all over the globe. We're talking routing a connection from France, bouncing it down to Brazil, and then jumping it all the way over to Japan. You have to become an absolute ghost long before you ever touch the actual target.
Because of all this, your daily life becomes incredibly claustrophobic really fast. Your entire existence gets strictly partitioned into 3 very specific pieces of hardware. Laptop 1, that's your normal life, watching movies, ordering pizza, the usual. Laptop 2 is your work machine. This thing is heavily encrypted and literally programmed to instantly wipe its entire hard drive if you so much as type the wrong password. And then there's Laptop 3, the panic laptop. This is the one you literally hide in an air vent for that inevitable day when the feds, or let's be real, your own bosses, finally come knocking.
Next up, Phase 4, the identity architect.
So as you climb the ranks and make unit lead, the stakes get astronomical. You aren't just hacking anymore, you're managing other digital ghosts. These are your data runners. Their whole job is to just zip stolen information through this crazy web of global jurisdictions. And the timeline you're managing is relentless. You're routing data through Cyprus in a matter of minutes, funneling it down to Panama over a few hours, and then burying it deep inside Wyoming shell companies within days. You're making the data dance so fast, it basically vanishes without a trace.
At this level, you are essentially playing a high-stakes chess game with real human lives. You start deploying false signals, intentionally creating massive digital footprints just to lead rival government tracers on a wild goose chase to some decoy server in the middle of the ocean. And while they're distracted with that, you are quietly, systematically executing devastating attacks on physical infrastructure. We're talking shutting down a massive commercial port or even a regional power plant.
Finally, we hit Phase 5, trapped in a golden cage.
But what's the price for all this godlike digital power? It's absolute, crushing, physical isolation. It is a bleak reality where a friend is literally just a weakness that the DEA or some rival agency can lean on. Genuine human connection just ceases to exist for you, because every single person in your life is suddenly nothing more than a liability waiting to be exploited.
And because of that, your daily habits warp entirely around threat mitigation. Your mornings are absolutely not about enjoying that free government coffee anymore. They are strictly about survival. You develop this exhausting, unbreakable routine of paranoia. You're checking the wheel wells of your car for GPS trackers every single morning without fail. And when you finally sit down at a restaurant to eat, you will never, ever sit with your back to the door. You are just constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Then, the truly terrifying truth finally dawns on you. You're no longer a person. You're an asset. By building these sprawling digital empires and messing with global infrastructure, you have systematically erased your own life. Because you are the only person who knows exactly where every single digital body is buried, you've just become an exceptionally expensive, highly classified loose end. And this right here reveals the grand illusion of your power. On one hand, yes, you literally possess the capability to crash a foreign stock market without ever leaving your desk. It feels like ultimate unchecked control. But on the other hand, to the handlers who put you in that windowless room in the first place, you are completely powerless. You're just a number, a highly localized resource that gets casually moved to a different column on someone else's massive spreadsheet. Which brings us to the inescapable reality of this career path. You are a prisoner on a windowless throne. You are going to stay at that desk, running those runners, bouncing those signals until the very end. Because in this shadow business, family doesn't get to retire. Walking away is simply no longer an option.
So we've explored the immense, deeply isolated cost of wielding supreme digital power. But let's strip away the danger for just a second. If you found yourself with the ultimate ghost key, unfettered, completely invisible access to absolutely any secure system, any server, any database in the entire world, what is the very first thing you would look at? Let that sink in for a minute. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep questioning what's really happening behind the screen.